All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is approved. Resolution 09-0213, 12, authorizing a contract for brake and axle parts. Mr. General Manager.
Mr. President, board members, this is an opportunity to be able to really receive kits that are much more cost-effective, be able to deal with a whole lot of our different elements of maintenance. We really put out a bid that had all the different elements that we wanted and then allowed people to bid as on either any, all, or just one part of the package. The bids came in, we evaluated them, and obviously looked at the lowest cost. We believe that this does, in fact, achieve that, but these are items that are also a part of our productivity improvement process. That is, before we would really do each individual part, we do some of the rebuild ourselves. Our frontline employees concluded that the better way to be able to put together these packages were to be able to put together kits, and that's what this represents. So it's again one of our improvements, productivity improvement efforts that came from our front line to be able to lead us to what we were seeking. This is the contracts to be able to deliver those products.
Move approval, Mr. President. Second. Discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Resolution is approved. Resolution 09-01213, authorizing a grant application to the FTA for stimulus funds. Mr. General Manager.
Thank you, Mr. President, board members. This is what we've been talking a lot about in terms of stimulus. This actually is you need to be able to approve our ability to even apply for such funds. That's what this resolution does. It is in the two categories that dollars are expected to flow from the Recovery Act legislation, both in the in the formula funds, FY09 formula funds, as well as in the rail modification, rail mod funds that are provided for. This does, as Neil outlined earlier in response to the question of exactly how does this kind of work its way through, this is that first step of actually applying for the funds. We would urge your approval.
Motion? Fair. Second. Discussion?
I have a question. Fred, I'm looking at some of these costs, and are they, if we find out, it says estimate, but if we find out the cost is less, do we have to return the money or can it be used for other things?
Very good point, Board Member Williams. In fact, I should have stressed this in my introduction. We have a total of $127 million worth of projects here. Right number is that 120?
This is cold from that. So
655.
Yeah, on that order.
55-ish. We started off with a $127 million list. We've called it back to the ones that we really think are the most likely. But at 44.8 or 44, just over 44 million of actual dollars, we have a larger list. Consequently, through the approval process, if one of these projects comes in lower, or if one of the projects we've done a lot of scrubbing kind of somehow can't make it through, we have other projects to drop in right behind it to make sure that they not only are the priority projects, but are in fact allow us to expend those dollars. So absolutely yes.
Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Resolution is approved. Resolution 09-0214, authorizing an IGA for the Portland-Milwaukee Light Rail Project. Mr. General Manager.
Mr. President, board members, typically when we are building a new alignment, we end up entering into intergovernmental agreements with a whole lot of different jurisdictions, and you see here that there are two of them. Actually, one on this with Metro, but because they do a certain kind of work that we don't. That's some of the environmental work is done at Metro. We then enter into an intergovernmental agreement, and it becomes a part of the project. You have seen this before on projects with the City of Portland, on some of the other shared efforts with the City of Milwaukee as well. This really allows us to be able to have some of that environmental work done by Metro through an intergovernmental agreement. We would urge your approval.
So moved. Motion.
Second.
Second. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Resolution is approved. Resolution 090215, authorizing the contract for preliminary engineering for the Willamette River Bridge. Mr. General Manager.
Thank you, Mr. President, board members. One of the key steps in the federal approval process for major projects such as light rail construction is the authority to be able to enter preliminary engineering. We have an application that we made back in the middle of the summer, and maybe shake our heads a little bit about why it takes so long for the FTA to be able to approve that. We are told that, has it actually gone up yet, do we think? The end of that process, once they've done all their internal review, this is Washington, D.C., they send it up for what's called the 10-day comment period to the authorizing committees and the appropriating committees. That is about ready to happen on the Portland to Milwaukee light rail project. When that happens, then, and if we receive the approval, we would expect no adverse comment from the Congress. When we receive that approval, any funds that are expended are able to be what are called grant eligible. That is, we're applying for federal share of the cost of the Portland Milwaukee light rail project, that any monies that we expend after approval of preliminary engineering then can be reimbursed at that, whatever the match ratio is. This is a contract that we're putting in place so that we can be ready to go as soon as that preliminary engineering is moving ahead. It's with HNTB Corporation for those services on the bridge. That is the actual Willamette River Bridge. And you will see more of these contracts over time. You see this and one other contract here as well to be able to be ready for when we receive that preliminary engineering to be able to move forward. We urge your approval.
Motion? Second. Discussion? I have one question on this, and I hope it's not unfair, but could you give me a percentage likelihood that the Milwaukee Light Rail will be funded at the big table in the time frame in which we're planning?
Let me say it this way, then Neil kind of can step in. I think that this project will receive federal funding as long as we can accomplish all of our steps here. This